Good morning students. Today we are going to discuss about functions in C programming. Function is nothing but a group of statements that perform a task. Every C program has at least one function which is main, and all the most trivial programs can define additional functions. This thing we had discussed in the first session itself. I had told you, I think so. You can divide up your code into separate functions depending upon your needs. C functions can be classified in two categories. One is library function and the other is user defined functions. Library functions are built-in functions which are available in common place called C library. Whenever you are going to use those library functions, you have to use its header functions also in your program. And the next is user defined functions. User defined functions are the functions which are written by the user for our own requirements. The library functions I discussed with you in the previous class, I think so. And uses of functions. What is the use of functions? Why we are in need of functions? I had described you all these things in this particular slide. Functions used to avoid rewriting of the same logic or code again and again in a program. So you don't want to repeat a set of codes again and again in your program. Instead of that, you can use a function. There is no limit in calling functions to make use of the same functionality whenever it is required. Once you are described or defined your functions, you may call it whenever you need and wherever you need. Within your program, there is no time limitation for using your functions. A large program can easily be tracked when it is divided into functions. If you are going to write a very long code, then you can use functions so that you can split the program into more functions so that you can use it in a very easy manner. It avoids the complexity in your programs. The core concept of our functions are reusability. So that once you define a particular function, you can use that whenever you need of a particular function's action. Dividing a big task into small pieces to achieve the functionality and to improve the understandability of a very large program. If you are going to write a coding of about 100 or 200 lines in a sequential manner, then it will be more confusing if somebody is going to execute your program. Or else if you are going to use a function, then it will be easy for the user who are all using the particular set of codes, and then you can use the same functions in other programs also. We will describe about functions in the next session slides. So function definition. Whenever we are going to use a function, we have to know how we are going to define our function. The general form of the function is as follows. You have to give the return type, function name, parameter list. All these are different terminologies, and these terminologies are described below. Return type, a function may return a value. The return type is the data type of the value, and the function is being repeating. Some functions perform the desired operations without returning a value. In this case, we may use void keyword. That is the function which is not at all going to return any value. In that function, you have to give the return type as void. And the next is function name. This is the actual name of the function. That is the function name and the parameter list together constitute the function signature. What is the function and how it is going to be used? What are the parameters it is going to consist of? All these things will be described here. The function name should be defined by the user, and if you are going to give some reasonable names, it will be very easy for you to access a particular function. And the parameters, when a function is invoked, you will pass a value to the parameters. This value is referred to as actual parameters or arguments. The parameter list refers to the type, order and number of parameters of a function. The parameters are optional. That is, a function may or may not have parameters. And the next is a function body. The function body contains a collection of statements that define what the function is going to do. Function declaration. A function declaration tells the compiler about a function name and how the function, how to call a particular function, and the actual body of the function can be defined separately. Declaration is different from defining a particular function. Declaration is just a statement you are going to give in a program to define that, to say that we are going to use a particular set of definition or a function within a program. A function definition should be declared before it is called by the calling function. I have given a very small example here. Just look after here, integer a, b, c. Integer is nothing but the data type it is going to return, and ABC is the function name. Integer, within the bracket I have given integer, so it is the function parameter. You are going to pass the parameter integer value with the help of this function. This is called as function declaration. Declaration statement is used to define to the compiler that we are going to use a certain type of a function within our program. And next is main part of the program, void main. In this we had given a variable x is equal to 10. We are assigning the value of 10 to the variable x. Integer y is equal to ABC of x. Here we are going to call the function ABC with the parameter value x. Here we are giving x, this is called as actual parameter. Whenever we are going to use a parameter in the function call, then it is called as an actual parameter. See, for example, I have given y is equal to ABC. Now the function execution will move on to the function named as integer ABC. This is called as a function prototype, and this is formal parameter. Here integer a is the formal parameter. The value of a will be passed here. A is equal to 10 will be assigned here. Then getting into the function definition, a is equal to a plus 10. Already the value of a is 10. 10 plus 10 is equal to 20. So a will be assigned with the 20 value now. So it will return the 20 to the called function. Here we are called ABC and we assign the value of ABC to y. So 20 will be assigned to y here, and then it will print the value of y here. See, this will be the output for the particular function. It will print y is equal to 20. When the function definition is after the function call, then the declaration of the function is a must, else it is optional. The function call has the parameters which is called as actual parameters. The parameter in the function definition are called as formal parameters, and that I had defined you already. So next is categories of functions. A function can be categorized into 4 groups according to their parameters and their return values. Functions with no arguments and no return value is a category. Function with arguments and no return value is another category. Functions with no arguments and no return value is another category. Functions with argument and return value is another category. Explanation for the function with no arguments and no return values. When a function has no arguments and no return values, it is not going to call the functions with the parameter list, and it is not going to return any value to the particular function. See, I have given you a sample program here. For example, void print, that is the function declaration. Before defining the main function, I had defined the I had declared the function print there. After declaring the function, I had defined the main function here, printf. This is used to check you how the function is being executed. After getting into the main, it will print in the main function. After printing that, it will move on to the next statement, that is print statement. This statement will call the function called print. Then the execution will automatically move on to the void print function. So the execution will be moved to here and it will print in print function. So the function definition was given here, so it will print in print function. After printing this particular code, then the function execution will move on to the main function, and then it will come to the print in main function, and again the the execution will be transferred to the main after the function call, and it will come to the third statement in the main function and it will execute this statement. See, I had given you the output here. First, when we are going to get into the main function, it will print the in main function, and after that it will move to the print function and it will print in print function. After function call, it will again move to the main function and then it will give you the in main function. Okay. Now, this is the category of no parameters and no return values. It is not at all returning any values to the main functions. And this category is with no arguments and with return values. A function, when it is not having any argument but it is receiving some data from the calling function, then this category can be considered as function with no arguments and return values. See, for example, input, integer input. Integer is meant, its data type is meant that it is going to return any integer value to the main function, and after that the main function was defined integer a is equal to input. So input is nothing but the function call. After the function call, it will return the value to the integer a. Here, after executing this statement, the execution will be moved on to the input function. In this input function, integer x is defined, and integer x is a variable where we are going to assign values, and we are going to receive the input from the user, and you are going to return the x to the main function. So when the input function is called, the input function will return the value of x, and the value of x will be assigned to a in the main function. So after executing this particular statement, then it will move on, the execution will be moved to the printf statement. The value entered by the user is %d. %d is the formal string to specify that it is going to print a integer number, and a is the variable. So after executing this, it will execute you this set of statement. This is the sample output I had given you here. Let x is equal to 10. If the user is going to give x as 10, the value entered by the user is 10, will be printed from the main function. Okay. Note the input function has no arguments. In return, the input value to the main functions. The value received in the variable x is returned to the main functions, and then the value will be displayed in the main function. This is the category of with no arguments and with return values. Next, we are going to see the next category, function with arguments and no return values. This may be another category when a function has arguments but it does not want to return any value to the main function, then we can use this type of functions. If the calling function want to check the validity of data, then this category is function is defined. For example, I have given you an example here. Here I had written a function for a function called add. This is going to pass two variables, two parameters, integer and integer parameters, and then I have given the main program here, integer a comma b, scanf %d comma %d. Through this statement you are going to give, the user is going to give the input to the main function. After giving the input to the main function, it will be passed to the add a comma b. The value of a will be assigned here and the value of b will be assigned here. So after this statement, the execution will be moved to the add function. So in the add function, the value of a is assigned to x. Since we are going to pass the actual parameters to the formal parameters, x will be assigned with the a's value and y will be assigned with b's value. So after getting into the function, we are giving a variable called integer ans. An is used to assign x plus y. So both the values of x and y will be added and it is stored in answer. Here we are not returning the value of answer, just we are going to print the value of answer here itself in the function itself. So it is the category of function with no arguments. So functions with arguments and no return values. So and the next category what we are going to discuss is function with arguments and return values. You can both send and receive data to the functions. Okay, a function receive any data from the calling function through arguments, but does send the value block to the calling functions. The arguments can be one or more of the same data types or of different data types. A function can return only one value, even though you can able to pass more number of parameters, but the function can return only one value if it is going to return the value to the main function. See here again I am using the same logic what we had discussed in the previous example. I am again using integer add. Since it is going to return value, I had given here as integer add. We are going to pass two parameters as integers, and I had defined main here integer a is comma b. I had directly assigned the values for a and b. A is equal to 20 and b is equal to 20. C is equal to add a comma b. So when we are going to execute this statement, add 10 comma 20 will be passed to the integer add integer x comma y. When we are going to call this function, value of x will be assigned with the value of a and the value of y will be assigned with the value of b. That is 10 will be assigned to x and y will be assigned 20 will be assigned to y. Here in this example I had used a variable called s. So s is used to store x plus y, and I am also returning the value of s to the main function. So after executing this statement, the value of x and y, that is 10 plus 20 is equal to 30, that will be assigned to s and it will be returned to the main function, where c is equal to add a comma b. So after executing the particular function, the 30 will be assigned to the variable c in the main function. So and then after executing this statement, the printf statement will be executed where the value of a plus b is equal to 30 will be printed here. So this is the category called as the values with the function with arguments and return values. The output will be like this. The function call, that is integer, given a note here, will pass x and y value to a and b will be passed to x and y, so that the output will be stored in s. So it will return s values to the main function and it will be displayed there. And the next is the nesting of functions. Nesting of function will be permitted in C. The main function calls the function f1. Here in this example I had described about nesting of functions. You may have a function within a function. In this example I had called like this. The main function calls the function f1 and the function f1 may call f2, function f2 may call f3. I had given an example here for your clarity. I had defined these functions f1, f2 and f3 here. Even though we are going to have more number of functions within a program, the function execution only will start from main main function. No other functions will execute before main function. So the function execution starts at main, printf in main function. So that statement will be printed. After printing that statement, function 1 will be called. So the execution will be moved to the function 1. Then that is f1 here. So when we are going to execute this function, it will execute that statement in the function 1 in function 1. After executing that statement, the function 2 is called, where the execution will move on to the function 2 definition. In that function I had given a printf statement in function 2. After executing that statement, function 3 was called within that particular statement itself. So it will move on to the function 3. After executing in function 3, the program execution will stop. Okay, it will come to the main part of the program, but there is nothing there to execute, so the program finishes. So this is going to be the output for the particular nesting of function program. And the next is recursion function. The recursion function is a function which calls itself. So it is called as a recursion functions. When we write recursive functions, we must have an if statement somewhere to force the functions to stop being executed. If we are not going to use if statement in recursive, it may cause a indefinite looping statement. So that it is necessary to have a if statement in a recursive statement. Here I had given an example for a recursion statement. This is nothing but a factorial program where we are using recursion function. The execution here will start from main function. We had used two variables here, one is x and another is answer. Both the variables are integer variables. X will be the input given by the user. According to the user's input, the execution will start. Say for example, if the input is going to be a 3, the value of x will be passed to fact3. So after the function call, the execution will be moved to the function, particular function, that is function fact integer n. So x will be assigned to n there. So the value, the next statements will be executed. If n is equal to if n is equal to 1, n is 3 now, so 3 is not equal to 1, so the condition is false here, so that it will come to the return statement and return n into fact of n minus 1. N's value is 3 here into fact n minus 1, so 3 minus 1 is 2, then it is calling the same function again, so that 2 will be assigned to n, so it will call the same function. So n is equal to 2 now, 2 is not equal to 1, the condition is false, again it will come here, so it will print 2 into fact of 2 minus 1, so fact of 2 minus 1 is 1 now, so it will again move on to the fact function, so integer n is 1 now, so it will return n is equal to 1, the condition is true here, now it will return 1, already it returns 3 into 2, now it will return 1, so 3 into 2 into 1 is 6, so the answer will be assigned, 6 will be assigned to ANS, and the print statement after the function call ANS is equal to %d, the answer will be printed using this statement. Okay, this is called as recursion function. And the next is call by value. The function may be of two types, one is function call by value and the next is function call by reference. In function call by value, where you can pass the arguments directly to the function, normally the parameters or arguments passed is by value. In some cases we may pass the values as reference values. Here I had given an example to swap two variables. For example, I define the function here. See, for example, I will take the main function. If a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20, before swapping, that is after assigning these values, the printf statement, that is before swap will be printed, and after before swap printed, A is equal to 10 will be printed and B is equal to 20 will be printed. After printing all these statements, see for example I had given you the output there, printing all these statements, now the statement will be, execution will be moved on to the swap, I mean that is the function call. So A will be assigned as 10 and B will be assigned as 20. Now the function call will be moved here, then X is equal to A, that is X is equal to 10 now and Y is equal to 20 now, since Y will be assigned with B's value. So integer temperature, temp, that is we are giving a temporary variable here to swap the values of X and Y. The value of X, that is 10, will be assigned to temp and the value of Y, that is 20, will be assigned to X. After this assignment, then now the X will have 20 with it and Y is equal to temp. Already temp is having 10, so the value of temp will be assigned to 10. So after executing this statement, here the function call will be moved to the main function. After main function, the printf statement, I mean that is /n, that is used to print the next line statement, and we are given after swapping variable values here. Now the value of A and B was printed, so A becomes 20 and B becomes 10. This is the use of using the function call by value, that is directly we are assigning the values to the function what we are going to call. This is called as function call. And next is function by reference. In call by reference, the address of the variable is passed as arguments but not the value. But in function call by value, we are directly passing the value to a particular function. We are just here passing the address of a variable. I had used the same example here also. See the difference. In the main function, we are assigning A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20. Just it will print all the statements here in the printf statement before swapping. A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20. After these statements, it will come to the swap statement. Here ampersand A and ampersand B was given. Since ampersand is nothing but a address of operator, so it will give the address of A and address of B to the function here. So integer X, that is pointer X, will receive the value in the address specified and the value in the address specified. That is the value of A and the value of the address of a particular variables will be assigned here. And after getting all these things, we are getting to the function integer temp, that is also a temporary variable here within a particular function. Temporary will be assigned with the value of A and the value of A will be assigned with the value of B and value of B will be assigned with the temporary variable's value. So after doing all these things, the function execution will again move to the main function. After coming here, it will execute the statement after swapping. Here after swapping, the value of A will be 20 and the value of B will be 10. This is called as function by reference. So I have given the difference between call by reference and call by value here. When you are going to use call by value, the copy of actual arguments is passed to the formal arguments. When you are going to use call by reference, the location of the actual argument is passed to the formal arguments. When in call by reference, no effect on the change in the values in the actual arguments. After executing all these things, if you are going to change the actual arguments in a particular function, it is not going to be affected when we are going to use call by value. Rather, if you are going to use a call by reference, it will actually bother, it will affect the actual arguments change after it was done. In the actual arguments, when you are going to use call by value, in the actual arguments, the data will be remain safe. But when we are going to use call by reference, the actual arguments are not safe, since anybody can change the value in a particular locations, so it is not safe. So that's all about call by value and call by reference. So that's all about functions. Thank you, students.